Are you a smartphone addict? Do you reach for your phone first thing in the morning? Or do you feel waves of anxiety when you see a low battery notification? If you answered yes to these questions, today's show is certainly for you. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of The Moment Show with Pastor FUNKE, a show where you learn something new every time. All right. Welcome to our amazing audience. How are you all today, hi guys? You are doing great? Awesome. It's good to have you. It's good to have you. And also welcome to all of you that are watching us from home. Now, while smartphone addiction may not have the capability to destroy lives like drugs or gambling or alcohol, it does have real-life consequences. It can harm your productivity, put a strain on your romantic relationships, and create deadly distractions on the road. Almost everyone begins their day by instinctively reaching for their smartphones to check for new messages and notifications. We're often glued to our smartphones due to their addictive nature. Instant access to information, gist, and social connections, even fear of missing out, and the habit of seeking constant stimulation and validation in this, our digital world. While a smartphone, tablet, or computer can be hugely productive tools, compulsive use of these devices can interfere with work, academics, and relationships, especially marriage relationships. Now, how has this device affected you, me, and the whole world? My guest today is a seasoned professional with a diverse background in law, management consulting, leadership development, and social entrepreneurship. She holds an LLB in law and a BL from the Nigerian Law School and is recognized as an associate of the International Dispute Resolution Institute. Jennifer is a certified management consultant and a fellow of the Institute of Management Consultants. She has held leadership roles over her career, including serving as customary court judge, underscoring our ability to inspire and drive change. Studio audience, let's welcome Jennifer George to The Moment Show.
Thank you.
Hello, Jennifer.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for being my guest on today's show to talk about none other than smartphones. I can tell you that my smartphone is never too far from me.
Of course.
If you check my surrounding here, you're going to find it. Okay, so first question, Jennifer. Who is a phone addict, really?
Okay, a phone addict is just like the word addict, suggests. So a phone addict is someone that is addicted to using of the phone. So we have different kinds of addictions, and addictions are things that people turn to seek comfort. And some people turn to their phones to seek comfort. Yes. So a phone addict is somebody that turns to the phone to seek comfort, some form of comfort. It could be entertainment, it could be company, or all of that.
Right. So instinctively, without us even realizing it, when we reach for a phone, because that's different. I hadn't thought about it like that. I thought it is, I need information. But you're saying that when you're an addict, you use your phone to seek comfort. How destructive can that be, particularly in a marriage?
Oh my God, the destructive nature is really, really tremendous.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, much more than you can imagine. Yes, because these days, it kind of hinders communication between couples. And we know that communication is very essential in marriage. Yes. So sometimes you see husband is on a smartphone the wife is on her smartphone, you know, and they're not communicating, they're not
Yes.
talking to each other.
Yes.
And before you know, when the communication gap between them is breached, and before you
Yes.
know it, they begin to have problems, you know, they begin to have challenges in their marriage.
In their marriage, and that is so true. So how can a couple or family actually overcome this kind of addiction? Because it is very, very destructive.
It is. Yes, there are many ways you can tackle this addiction. First of all, you have to be deliberate.
Be deliberate.
Yes, you have to be deliberate. You have to be intentional about it. And which is why I commend this show.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, because you never may know the impact that you're making in the lives of people. You know, we take this for granted. Everybody seems like okay, the smartphone is part of you, is an extension of you, but then it can lead to your destruction. Now, we know that depression, mental health challenges on the increase. And if you look at it very closely, you see that it's tied to the usage of smartphones. Like you said before, the illustration you gave, where you said that you and your family went out on vacation, and that was meant to bring bonding, you know.
Absolutely.
It was meant to actually enhance bonding between between all of you. But at the end of the day, that purpose was defeated because of that small gadget.
Right.
You know. So shows like this would tend to tell people, it would point people in the direction of things that they are overlooking, to say that, okay, now the gadgets are good, but use them with caution.
Use with caution.
Yes, with caution.
Use them with caution. Don't be like us.
Yes.
And
to answer your question, there are actually ways that you can regulate the usage of smartphones. Like I said before, you have to be intentional, and that means you have to take on some habit change. Yes, you have to you have to change some habit. For instance, there's an app I have on my phone that's kind of it monitors my usage of phone, yes, my screen time.
Right.
And so I set a limit. I'll be like, I could say, okay, I don't want to use my phone for more than 3 hours. And if I exceed that 3 hours, it would definitely indicate to me.
Wow.
So if you continue doing that, if you have that kind of app on your phone and it keeps indicating to you that you are overusing your phone, over time, you might start developing a sense of guilt. And before you know it, you want to adjust.
Right.
Yes. And then another thing that families can do is they can also deliberately set out a calendar where we say, okay, this time of the day, no phones, no gadgets.
Time.
Yes, no phone time. We want to have face-to-face interactions, and everybody sticks to it. Right. And then another thing that you could do is also have some parts of the rooms of the house where gadgets do not go in.
Oh, you actually set and say, in the bedroom,
no gadgets.
We do not use gadgets. Wouldn't that be really great for marriages? Yes. I agree.
Yes.
I totally agree.
Yes, and my mentor does that.
No bedroom, no phones in the bedroom.
Yes, my mentor does that.
They'll be happier in the morning.
Exactly.
Yes. True. I said it. Try it, and if I'm wrong, come back and tell me.
Exactly.
Would you please speak to people, to my audience, to the people at home, on the issue of using phones, driving or walking, and the dangers that are attached?
Oh, yes. Like I said before, smartphones they're not totally wrong. They're not totally evil. Okay, but then the usage of them should be regulated. Just like we say that money is not totally bad, but money can be good and money can be bad as well, depending on the usage. So the usage of smartphone can be regulated, should be regulated as a matter of fact. I mean, it shouldn't control you. You should control the gadget and not the gadget control you.
Yeah. The phone, they do control us. I mean, I don't want to take a survey here, but I know that if I did, I want to guess that most of us, in this place who are mostly Christians will probably touch our phones, speak to our phones before we speak to the Lord in the morning. Anyone brave enough to say, I do that? Everybody here, practically. Yeah. Before we talk to God, we talk to our phones. Some of us, before we say good morning to our spouses or our children, we speak to our phones. We speak to our phones. Before we take a break, Jennifer, I want to ask this question. And we have about a minute left. Should children have smartphones? And if yes, at what age? You have about a minute.
Okay, that's a very, very topical question, because there was a survey that was done recently, and it revealed that about of all the phone users in Nigeria, more than 40% are children. And when I say children, I mean people below age 18. You know, from the definition of children, a child, everyone between the age of 0 to 18 is a child.
Right.
And more than 40% of the Nigerian population, are phone users. So there's no legislation that directly or expressly spells out when a child should have access to a phone. But then, even when you give your children phones to use, as a parent, you should monitor them. You should monitor their usage. That's why we have parental control, and then you should monitor their access to the internet. Because unfortunately, that is one of the things that is giving us problems with our children today. Our children's access to the internet. They are exposed to online predators.
Yes.
They're exposed to sextortion and the likes, and it's really becoming a problem for us today.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
It is a problem, and we're going to come back to continue this conversation. I want to just press more a bit on, because all of us think it's cool to have our children have phones, but at what age? We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll continue our conversation with Jennifer George. Okay, welcome back, everyone, to the Moment Show, and we are still speaking with Jennifer George on the whole issue of phone addiction. And I think that most of us are phone addicts really without realizing it. So Jennifer, before we took the break, I was asking about children, and I can tell you that, from my experience as a parent, for sure, I've seen the damages. But what age should a child, or should children under 18, what age would it be safe for a child to have a smartphone that has access to the internet and some of these other sites?
Okay, the first question I will ask is, what purpose is that phone going to serve?
Purpose. What exactly are we trying for them?
To achieve, yes. So I know that there are tabs that children use that have some educational content, so those kind of tabs may not be harmful.
Right.
But then if you give them unlimited access to internet, that's where I have a problem. Yes. And then there are times when children may have to turn to the internet to do research, for assignments,
school.
Yes, and all of that.
Right.
But then, like I said before, parental control is key. You have to control, because no matter how much you try to regulate the activities of your children, when they go out to school, you're not there with them. When they interact with their peers, you're not there with them.
Exactly.
So it boils down to you having a very formidable, strong relationship with them back home. Tell them, okay, for now, you don't need to go on Instagram. What are you doing on Instagram? A 16 or a 14-year-old child. What are you doing? What are you looking for there? Or the other TikTok and all of that. They don't need. I remember when I was much younger, when I was an adolescent, and you know that during that stage, because of the hormones that are playing, all over you, you kind of feel that you're an adult and you want to start doing what adults are doing. But I had this uncle who used to caution me. And he used to tell me, be a child when you are a child. You know, be an adult when you become an adult.
Be a child. Actually, for many of us parents, especially those of us who then think because we can afford it, we should give our children smartphones, is not a very smart decision. Jennifer, you had spoken about that app, you know, and I forgot to follow up on that app that regulates our, you know, phone use time.
Yes.
You know, my sports watch would tell me literally it's time for you to get up and move, because it's monitoring my health, it's monitoring how long I sit. So why not have a phone or an app that will tell you, hey, you've been on that phone for 10 hours already. Get off of it, you know. So I would seriously, you know, recommend that all of us should try the use of this app. Jennifer, I wanted to ask another question. Sadly, I think it was last week that there was a man, you know, a Nigerian man that was, you know, very highly placed, who committed suicide.
Nick,
and you know, so there are all these mental health issues. Now, how is there a link between phone addiction, depression, and suicide?
Oh, definitely.
And you know, what's that whole dynamics like? What's going on there?
Okay, so when you're on your phone, you it isolates you from other people. Yes, so phone usage creates that social isolation, you know, so you're just enjoying your company, you know, and then with time, if you don't watch that, if you don't check it, you find out that you enjoy spending more time with your gadgets than even interacting with your family and friends. And what that does is that over time, you would become isolated, you know. And then there are other negative effects, you know, that smartphone does to us. For instance, when we go on social media, I have a friend who told me that there's something Facebook does to him. And I asked him what, and he said every time he goes on Facebook, he comes out depressed. And I said, what? Do they flog you there? He said, no, because when he checks out his colleagues, you know, in school, and he sees that everybody is doing so well, he'll be like, God, am I a spoon? You know, like we say, you know. And I said, okay, you know what? Stop going there.
Exactly.
For the sake of your mental health. So when people get addicted to social media, especially Instagram, God, you see so many things. And what we don't understand is that these things are hyped. You know, there's so much superficial existence on social media. You see, like if I want to take a picture now, I will not use my regular camera. I might use enhanced apps. You know, I'll use Snapchat, and Snapchat will make my face look oblong, will give me some kind of striking features, supermodel look, you know. And then somebody might see that and be like, "Oh, Jennifer is made," and all of that, and the person would start pressure, you know, putting unnecessary pressure on his or herself, and before you know it, that the mental health begins to take a downturn. And before you know it, suicide comes calling. Like the situation of this man now, I want to believe that, and that's another thing that social media does to us. It makes us we look put together, we look happy, but in the reality, people are dying.
Things are going on there.
Yes.
Things are going on there.
And then because, like for instance, I have a friend who happens to be living in the same town with her mom, and she'll tell me that she can go like 8 months without seeing her mother.
Oh my word!
You understand?
In the same town.
In the same town, and if she needs anything from the mom, I mean, she can always call a dispatch rider to go pick it up and all of that. And that is what smartphone is doing to us. The case of this man now, this Mr. Nick, who knows, probably he was isolated at some point. You know, in the face of the public, he looked like he was doing well. But deep down, the man was dying. And maybe because of the use of smartphones, people were not checking up on him. And that's one of the ways that we can help people that are challenged mentally. Check up on people.
Check up on people. Check up on people. Jennifer, I'm so happy you said that, because one of my beliefs, and I teach this as, you know, as a pastor, I teach this all the time. Isolation will get you killed. When you look at the herd, look at animals. When they are out there grazing, the lions stay back. They are watching for the straddlers. Who are those ones? The ones that get isolated from the pack. When the pack moves and those other ones come, the lions pounce. It's the same concept. When you are out of the company of people that love you, you get isolated. The beasts in the spirit, they come and they attack. Jennifer George. Thank you so much. We are out of time. Where does time go on this show? But you learned something new today, and that is our aim. God bless you.
Amen.
Keep doing what you're doing. Jennifer George, everybody. All right. We're going to take another break, everybody at home, and we'll be right back with the Moment Show. God bless you. God bless you. Awesome. Thank you all, and welcome back to the Ask segment. And in this segment, I take questions from our audience and from those of you at home on any subject whatsoever. So today, I'm going to read one that we got from our online audience, and it says, I love watching Instagram Reels and TikTok. It has become a daily routine for me. I make sure I have enough data. Serious. Pastor Funke, does this make me an addict? And this is from Dami. Dami, thank you so very, very much for joining us and asking your question. So I think if you actually plan to do this Instagram thing, and depending on how much you spend, how much time you spend, plus what you sacrifice to make that happen, yes, I think that makes you an addict. I think it very much makes you an addict, because if you prioritize staying on Instagram, watching Reels, you're not getting paid. It's not a job. It's not like you're making money from it. It's just that you like it. Now, by the way, I like those Reels too. But, you know, 5-10 minutes, and then I need to be off doing something else that is more productive for me. There's another question online as well that I'll just like to read. I see it says, my question is, how do you know a child is being bullied? How do you know a child is being bullied? You know, thank God I was never bullied as a child. And I think that was in a lot of ways because I had parents that were really, really strong on loving me. You know, I knew I was loved as a child, and that's what I advise. Now, how do you know? The child will become sully. They will become, they'll change. You know, they become quiet. They become fearful. If you say, what are you doing? You know, their personalities change. They become quiet. They live everywhere. You know, they don't want to do things that they used to like to do before. So those are some of the signs of a child that is being bullied. They don't talk. Sometimes they become stammerers. You know, they used to talk very well before. I know this. You know, they become, you know, they stammer. A lot of that is bullying. And you need to pay attention to that. All right. Thank you so very much. Now we're about to close the show. But please take care. Be deliberate. Be intentional about working on your life. Stay away. Break the habit of phone use. Get other things inside your life and live a balanced life. God bless you. I love you. From all of us in the Moment Show, see you next episode by God's grace. See you next time.